I love the new music you have out here, and I know you're often described maybe as like a little country with a smidge of jazz and country and rock and roll all together. How do you tend to describe the music that you make?
Yeah, just kind of exactly what you said, just sort of a combination of a lot of styles, but with kind of country at the root of it, really, and adding in like some jazz and rock and roll, R&B, soul and yeah, just I love all kinds of music, so it's just kind of natural to write in different styles.
Who were some of the artists that influenced you when you were growing up?
Well, growing up, I played in my family's country band and started really young with that. And my parents had a really great classic country record collection. So I got to listen to a lot of great country music growing up. Hank Williams and Loretta Lynn and Patsy Cline, Johnny Cash, George Jones, just all the greats really. They had all that. And then they had some rock and roll too. They loved Elvis and um, Ray Charles, and just about every Roy Orbison, all kinds of good stuff that I got to
All the
grow up on.
goods. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I discovered on my own really that I love jazz and the jazz vocalists like Frank Sinatra and Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, Nat King Cole. I kind of discovered that on my own and got really into that in my 20s, and also old blues and yeah.
Well, you have this beautiful song, Outlook 5 out. Talk about creating the song and where the inspiration came from.
Yeah, well, that song, since we're talking about influences, I feel like maybe comes a little bit from Frank Sinatra kind of type jazz. I listen to a lot of that stuff, and I find it coming out in my music quite a bit. Like making memories, I feel like is something reminiscent of Frank Sinatra, and thematically, I had the idea. I got the idea maybe a few years ago, and from some people that were talking about somebody who was getting married for the fifth time, and I just kind of and it really felt like, well, they'd found their true love. So I just felt at that time I got the concept of the song, and then eventually finished writing the song.
It's the first single off your upcoming LP, Born in You. What made it special enough to be the first one to tease?
Well, I really love how the recording turned out. I love what the musicians and producers did with that song. It felt like it had high energy and like a really good feeling to it. The theme of the song, and it's got a beautiful trumpet solo, great strings in it, and it felt like something that would be slightly different with the. This is the first album I've really had horns, and so that's not the only song that I'll have horns on. And I felt like I wanted to sort of introduce that, like, hey, I'm doing something, a little bit new here, and um, I had a great idea for a video to shoot it in a roller rink, and it turned out really good. So yeah, we had some friends roller skating and doing some acting for us. So I don't know, it just seemed like it had the right energy for a first release. So.
I was going to ask what kind of fan response you've already been receiving to the song.
Well, really good. Yeah, I feel like people are really digging it, and along with the video has right away it was getting quite a bit more views than a lot of my videos have. So I think it's just something super fun and something that kind of takes people back to their childhood of roller skating as well. And I sent it to my family, and my sister got really excited about it, and I know when my family responds too, she's like, I think this is the best thing you're done yet. Like, so I feel like, there's some good excitement about the upcoming, release of the album.
What are some themes you'll be exploring on Born in Ya?
Well, Born in Ya, uh, that the title track itself, and that song is going to be releasing soon, next Friday, May 31st. Is That's kind of like more of a gospel song that the band and the producers kind of gave it a funky groove as well. But in my mind, it's a gospel spiritual song, and I got the idea for that song watching Down from the Mountain, which is a documentary of the all the performances, live performances at the Ryman Auditorium of the songs from "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou." And when that album first came out, I listened to it a ton, like a lot of people did, and I just only recently saw the documentary though, and Ralph Stanley was being interviewed, and he said, "I don't think you can get this sound
Yeah.
unless it's born in you." And he used the past tense, "born in you," and I was like, "Oh, that's good." I wrote that down, and I knew I had to write a song about it. So um the song turned out to be a spiritual song about learning and growing as you and the concept of kind of having your soul born into you more as as you go through your life and as you're learning and kind of becoming a better person. So I think that's a maybe like a returning theme in the album a little bit.
You've touched on two special tracks so far. Are those your favorites off this LP, or are you looking forward to others checking out different
Yeah.
specific songs in general?
Yeah. Yeah, so my personal favorite track is there'll be another one. I don't know if you've listened to the whole album or if you've been given the whole album.
Little snippets.
Little snippets. Okay. Yeah, so there'll be another one uh is is I think turned out super beautiful, and the way that it kind of builds like a Roy Orbison tune or something, and then a beautiful string section comes in, and Rebecca, my girlfriend, wrote those string parts, and I
Uh,
just feel like it gets super emotional, and that song makes me cry when I listen to it. Anyway, yeah, that's probably my favorite, and I think it's one of the producers, Dennis Crouch. I think it's his favorite track too, because after we mixed it, he was like, "I've just been listening to that one every day. It's got something really special." But because it's a slower song, um, unfortunately, those songs don't get as much attention, which is kind
or
of a bummer. Because those are my like slow songs or songs that have a little bit of a sad sentiment. A lot of times are my favorite songs. So, but you gotta like put your high energy stuff out there. So that's kind of the idea of putting a couple songs, releasing the first two that are pretty high energy. And another one of my favorites off the album would be I Don't Love You Anymore, which I put second on the album because I'm like, nobody's going to pay attention to this song because it's slow and sad. So I'm going to make them pay attention. I'm going to put it number two. Anyway, I just think that one turned out gorgeous. So I like that one too.
what's your songwriting process? Do you need to have lyrics before you can craft music around it? Is it the other way around, or do you not tend to have a specific way?
Typically I'll start with a little lyric idea, um, and then the melody sort of falls around that lyric usually for me, kind of naturally. Like I don't really think about it too much. I'll just the first phrase usually comes, and then uh, a little melody comes with it, and then the second phrase, then everything just kind of falls into place usually, hopefully after that. And sometimes like uh, a bridge section, or sometimes lyrics, I'll have to tighten that up afterwards. Like there'll be certain verses that I know I can do better, so I'll keep working on them. But yeah, usually for me it starts with a lyric idea.
It sounds like you're very hands-on with the music that you make. How much do you have a say when it comes to the production side?
I'd say, honestly quite a bit. Um, uh, I there's certain things that I guess I've been in the studio enough that I know how I like to record, and I really I really like having the entire band, as much of the band as I can, playing the song live, because if you don't have that, you can't get the proper feel and
Mhm.
mood and groove and all happening. Everybody has to uh, be uh, sort of playing off of each other and feeling each other in the room to be able to. I mean, that's what playing music is all about. So I don't like the idea of tracking things separately. I mean, there's definitely overdubbing, like, of harmonies, and I usually overdub the fiddle and the steel, and but I like to have piano, drums, bass, rhythm guitar, and vocal all happening at the same time. And so that's that in general. If we do that, and we've got the right musicians, which I know, the folks that I've been using out in Nashville, I always know they're going to do an awesome job, and that's part of the producer's uh, job, is picking those musicians. And we've pretty much stuck with a lot of the same folks that I've used since Daddy's Country Gold, and
Dennis and
that
Andrea.
that's right. Yeah, and Dennis Crouch and Andrea Tokic have been the producers for Daddy's Country Gold, Ramblin' Soul, and also the new one, Born in Ya. And Andrea, it's his studio there that we've been using, Bomb Shelter in Nashville, and he engineers as well as produces. So yeah, I just kind of feel like I have a winning combination there, that
Yeah,
I just know I trust those people with my music completely.
with this LP coming here shortly, can we expect some live performances from you? Will you be touring in the near future?
Yeah, quite a bit. Yeah, I'm just about to go out for a little June tour over to California, going through Arizona, New Mexico, and Arizona, and playing a festival in California. And then um, I've got some more stuff with Wonder Women of Country over on the East Coast at the end of June, and that's Brendan Lee and Kelly Willis. That's our trio group. And then in July, that's when the album releases. I'll have a long tour. I'll actually be playing a festival in Wisconsin. Or wait, no, it's in Michigan. Yeah, I think it's in Michigan, way up there, way far north. I'll be playing that festival when my album's releasing, and then I go on a long tour, like
Wow.
through Montana and to Oregon and Washington State, and then and then another Midwest thing in September. I got a lot of stuff, and then a lot of Texas states too. So it'll be a busy year, but I'm excited. Got a lot of good shows coming up.
What can fans expect from a live Melissa Carper performance? Are there old music mixed with new music, or maybe some cover songs?
Yeah, I mean, I always do the stuff people want to hear off of Daddy's Country Gold and Ramblin' Soul, my old albums, and then I'll be doing the new stuff. And I don't do too many covers, honestly. Maybe I'd throw in one or two, but mostly I'm trying to get through my original stuff.
Sure.
Get that in there, and I'll be taking out a trio for some of it, and then my August tour I'll mostly have a four piece, which is kind of new for me to tour with a four piece. I bought a brand, well, not brand new, but a 2019 Ford Transit van that's big enough to have a four piece. So we'll be trying that out, and I'm looking forward to that.
That's incredible. You've mentioned some great musical influences in the past for you. Who are someone though you would love to collaborate with on a song in the future?
Well, I'm a huge fan of Sierra Farrell, and I've had her doing adding harmony to my all my albums. She's singing harmony on one song on Born in Ya. But if I ever get the chance to collaborate with her, I would love to do that. I'm actually in the works and in the plans of a big collaboration with Theo Lawrence. I don't
Ooh.
know if you know Theo Lawrence, but he's wonderful. He's from France, and him and one of his bandmates have moved over to Austin, Texas. Um, uh, they got like, work visas, and they're here now, kind of more permanently. And I'm gonna be touring a little with Theo, or opening for me and being in my band. That's that June tour, but we've been writing some duets together, and we have plans to record those. So that's gonna be that. It has been super fun and inspiring to get to work with him. He has an incredible voice, and he's a great songwriter too. So, um, and then I don't know. There's so many people I'd love to work with, but I'll just leave it at that.
What would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the beautiful music that you make?
To my fans and supporters, well, just thank you so much for listening and buying my albums, and looking forward to hopefully seeing a lot of you at these live shows that I have coming up.